Insane, you make me crazy. Insane, that's how I feel, that's how I feel.
Let the music control your body.
Hey guys, it's 8/24/2014. I have not made a video in a hot minute, and I do mean months, probably 2 or 3 of them. I'm surprised I still even have subscribers. Everybody's wanting me to make more videos, and I haven't done so yet. At any rate, my birthday will be in 4 days, and I will be 37, even though I don't look it. Yay! At any rate, I have a shitload of stuff to cover. I'm going to try to make this short and sweet, though. My friends tend to get a kick out of this, and I think you guys will too. And it's totally off subject. There are 3 men, 3, 1, 2, 3, on this globe that I think are fucking hot. I would tear their asses up. I would not even be able. I'm one of the girls that would pass out if they even touched me. And of course, well, there's actually more than 3. I'll be honest. Dean from Supernatural, the series Supernatural. Oh my God. Enrique Iglesias. Tosh O, and Justin Bieber. If I could have all 4 of those guys at one time, believe me, I would be one happy woman. I want to cover. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with people these days, but everybody's walking around here acting like you owe them something, and you got the wrong one whenever that comes to me. I was walking down the street the other day and met this guy. It seemed pretty cool, you know, just being friendly. I said, hey. And he's like, what's your number? He's like, I'll come over and help you clean your house or something later. And, of course, I give him my number. And he calls me later that night and he's like, I'm on my way over. Well, he never fucking shows up. Big deal, who cares? So, last night, this has been almost 2 weeks ago that this happened. Last night he texts me and says, what's your address? Where do you live? I want to come over. And I was like, dude, it's like 10 o'clock at night. What do you want to come over for? He has the fucking audacity to text me back and say, I want to come over because I want to sleep with you. Like I just give it out to anybody. Who fucking does shit like that? I mean, seriously. Then there's this other guy that I met because I posted a roommate ad online again. And he comes over here in his 40s or 50s. And let me just say, I had my birthday party yesterday. Even though my birthday is not for 5 more days. Or 4 more days now. This motherfucker comes over here, just shows up at like noon. I'm trying to decorate my own birthday cake. Blah, 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 etc., etc. And this motherfucker just shows up at my door. Well, then, he's way too touchy-feely for me. And he's constantly calling me baby and doing this, that, and the other and getting on my fucking nerves. He's known me for 2 days. And he's constantly touching me. I was decorating my cake, and this motherfucker is standing so close to me that when he moves, he bumps my arm and fucks my cake up. Of course, I was not all thrilled about that. But then one of my other friends comes over, And he wants to sit there, the dude that I'm talking about, wants to sit there and lie to him and tell him like he's some kind of gangster or something. He's talking all this gangster shit. And I'm like, dude, seriously. Oh my god, I just rolled my fucking eyes. I didn't know what to say or what to do. I just sat there. And my friend was like, took me aside and was like, this dude's freaking me the fuck out. So anyhow, my new roommate and I walked to the store last night, and we told this guy, because apparently he thought he was going to spend the night, we told him he'd have to sit on the front porch while we went to the store because we didn't trust him being in the house. Well, he's like, will you get me a pack of cigarettes and blah, 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 blah. I was like, fine, whatever. So he gives me $4. We walk to the store. I buy shit that I want with his money. And then we sneak back to the house, around the back of the house, so he doesn't see us. So he sits out on my porch for like an hour after she and I get home, and then finally he has somebody come pick him up. I was like, oh my god. And then he calls me and is like, what happened to y'all? What happened to y'all? I was like, dude, I'm in bed. I wasn't even anywhere near bed. That I was like, dude, I'm in bed. I do not want to deal with somebody like that at all. And as far as him moving in, he can forget it. The two people who lived here before, the couple, the engaged couple, honey, they were nasty as fuck. They have invited all kinds of vermin into my house. There were roaches everywhere. And they insisted that these roaches were not coming out of their room. Well, after I threw them out, they took out bags and bags of trash from their room. My entire sink was piled up with dishes from their room. Not to mention the fact they stole half of my dishes and half of my other shit. But anyway, they're gone. I'm glad they're fucking gone. I cannot stand any kind of nastiness or negativity whatsoever. You all know that. Okay, so maintaining this topic, I have dated, let me just go ahead and say, I have given up on finding a man around here. It is an impossible mission, and I do mean impossible. I was seeing this guy for maybe 2 weeks. The first day we met, he's like, let's go to the liquor store and get some alcohol. So I'm like, okay, let's go. The whole time we were talking for the 2 weeks prior to before we met, he was reluctant to mention the fact that he was still married. So we go to the liquor store, and we come out of the liquor store, and his wife pulls up behind us. And I'm like, who the fuck is this? And he's laughing like it's some kind of big fucking joke. And it's like, oh, that's my wife. And I'm like, you just need to bring me home. He's like, well, we're separated and blah, 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 blah. No. Yeah, they're separated, all right. She took off and moved to Georgia. We live in North Carolina. At any rate, this motherfucker, the whole time I was with him, honey, I lent him money and everything else. Then when I needed money, he acted like he didn't fucking have it. At any rate, I told him very specifically, he kept just touching me, and I cannot stand to be touched like that. Just touching me. You know how people do? Constantly, like, touching. Well, anyhow, he kept touching me, and he was, like, constantly wanting sex. And I said, I'm not having sex with you as long as you're still married. You can forget that shit. It ain't gonna happen. I am not that kind of girl. I said, either you can fucking deal with it, or you can take your ass on somewhere. So anyhow, one night I broke down and told him, you know, pretty much, that's the last straw, stop fucking touching me. I'm not having sex with you. And I flipped the fuck out on him. Hadn't heard from his ass since, and don't want to. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, this motherfucker had absolutely no goal, I suppose, no intention of getting an actual divorce. He thought that he could keep his wife, who he was separated from, and then have me on the fucking side. And, no, I do not play that. No. Well, then there was this other dude in the meantime. I had seen him before this fucking asshole thought he could stay married and blah, 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 blah. And then I stopped talking to him altogether because he was fucking crazy. All he talked about was the fact that he was an atheist. He's an atheist. Oh my God. And he was like, you're so special because you are so open-minded and all this, and you're just not like other girls. Well, anyhow, I had to get rid of his ass. Well, then, when I was dating this other guy, or talking to this other guy, I decided that I missed the other one. So, I contacted him out of the blue one day and was like, hey, you want to come over and hang out? Blah, 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 blah. Let's just be friends. No, honey. From the moment he walked through the fucking door, we were automatically dating. He's talking about moving in and doing all this shit. I guess because we were apart from each other for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. He's all of a sudden got this wild hair up his ass. He's wanting to fucking move in with me. I was like, no, we can talk about it, but it's not just going to happen. Well, anyhow, after all his psychotic behavior, honey, he was on something. This is one of those motherfuckers that in the middle of the night, he would say he's spending the night. In the middle of the night, I would wake up and he would be straight fucking gone. And the next day I'd call him and I'd be like, what the hell happened to you? He'd be like, oh, well, I forgot to take my medicine, so I went home to get my medicine. Or I was hungry, I had to go home and get something to eat. I'm like, dude, there's fucking food in my house. There's a whole refrigerator full of food. Don't bullshit me. Well, anyhow, in the meantime, he had invited me over to his house to meet his parents. Let's say he invited me over to his house to meet his parents at like 11 o'clock at night when they were asleep. Boy, that was eventful. His whole room smelled like he had ejaculated all over the fucking place. It had that man funky scent. Like, he sat there and played video games all day and obviously jacked off in the same room. It was disgusting. I couldn't even stand to be in his room. It was that fucking nasty. And his parents' house is immaculate. We're talking about a mansion. But his room in particular, no. He was a fucking spoiled brat. It's that simple. Anyhow, it came to the point, like a week after we had started talking again, and started talking about him moving in and doing all that, and renting a room. He wasn't just going to move in, he was going to rent a room. No, honey, I flipped out on his ass too. He pulled this bullshit one day, and was supposed to come over here one night, and I wrote him, he popped up on Facebook, so I wrote him and I was like, where are you? And he's like, I'm at home. I said, no, you're not, because it plainly fucking tells me on here where you are, and you do not live in that city. And he's like, oh, well, I'm out here in the boondocks somewhere. The boondocks, seriously. Like bumfucked Egypt. I was like, well, why the fuck did you have to lie about it? You know, I don't give a shit where you are. But you lying to me? That's something totally different. I cannot stand to be lied to. I do not lie. I do not expect anyone to lie to me. It's fucking childish. It shows that you have no backbone whatsoever. So anyhow, he's like, trying to talk to me, and I'm like, you know what? Because of that shit, it's fucking over. Permanently. Do not fucking contact me ever again. I've had it. I'm not dealing with that lying bullshit. I will tell you something extremely funny. This goes to show you, this is one of the reasons I've given up on men. Before I moved down here from Blowing Rock, North Carolina, into this chaotic, ignorant fucking town where everybody thinks that you owe them something, and all the men are fucking assholes and lazy and selfish. and all the girls are trying to get pregnant so they can hold on to a guy. Honey, I'm not trying to get pregnant so I can hold on to somebody. No. If I don't feel like I can trust my partner, I'm certainly not going to get pregnant to keep their ass around. At any rate, my ex, the only guy I have ever fallen in love with, this motherfucker was crazy as hell, and I mean in a good way. Honey, I asked him, I used to drive a straight drive vehicle, and one morning I was getting ready for work, and I asked him to go start the car. Lord have mercy, honey. He did not know how to drive a straight drive, but he was still half asleep. He threw that fucking car in gear, into first gear, and literally drove through the side of our house. I am not fucking kidding. I don't know if it was because he was sleepy-eyed or what. He seriously, I was like, what the fuck is that noise? And I walk into our bedroom, and my vehicle is sitting in the middle of our fucking bedroom. That was the absolute funniest shit I think I have ever experienced in my entire life. Give me a second, I have a phone call. I don't know what y'all are thinking about this whole situation, but here lately, this world is getting way out of fucking hand. First, on Facebook, where you can see anything going on, people have started setting themselves on fire like it's some kind of fucking joke. I cannot tell you how many people have been arrested for either setting themselves on fire or their parents helping them set themselves on fire or whatever. That's ridiculous. So, that happened like a couple weeks ago. Now suddenly, somebody has come up with this idea to support the ALS Foundation. If you do not know what that is, it's comparable to Lou Gehrig's disease, which means you can die from it, ultimately. So anyhow, there's this new competition now. It's called an ice bucket challenge. And you have to dump ice water all over yourself so you don't have to donate as much money as you would if you did not dump the ice water on yourself. So ultimately, in a nutshell, if you dump ice water on yourself, you don't have to donate. If you do dump it on yourself, you don't have to donate. But if you don't, you have to donate so much money. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you don't, you have to donate money. If you do, you don't have to donate the money. Anyhow, people are donating money anyhow, so it doesn't really matter. But it is all over fucking Facebook. That's all you see, is people dumping ice water all over themselves, or ice cubes, or whatever. It is an epidemic, ultimately. And it's completely fucking ignorant. Who comes up with this shit? I don't know. But I can tell you, if you have a Facebook account, look at that motherfucker. Seriously. There are so many conformists. And by that I mean people who, or sheeple is what I choose to call them, who do what every fucking body else is doing. It's absolutely insane. I mean, does no one have their own brain anymore? Does nobody have their own mind? Their own personality? What the fuck is this shit with doing what everybody else is doing? And how does this shit become, like, extreme, epidemic proportions? People are dumping ice water and filming it all over themselves for ignorant reasons. If you want to donate to a fucking charity, donate to it. If you don't, don't. When I go into the grocery store and they ask me if I want to donate to a particular charity, I tell them yes or no. I'm not going to say, oh, they're not going to say, well, because you didn't donate, you got to dump a bucket of ice water on yourself, or set yourself on fire, or pull your teeth out, or whatever. That's all fucking ridiculous. You know, or cut your toenails and fingernails off because you didn't donate, blah, 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 blah. I mean, that's probably going to be the next ignorant situation that people are going to stick themselves in. Oh, well, you didn't donate, so you've got to cut all your hair off. No, Donate or do not donate. You do not have to go to these extreme efforts to get people to donate to a charity. I donate to specific charities. And I'm not going to change my mind about that. I donate to environmental charities or children's charities. I do not donate to whatever fucking charity is going on, what's the next hottest thing is. I'm not going to fucking do that. This Feed Children in Ethiopia thing, no, I don't trust it. They will tell you, I want you to listen to this. I don't know if you can hear that, but this new roommate that I have is at the top of her fucking lungs. Which you all know how well I can bear that. She will be talking to you and screaming in your face. Here's another thing. She and this other dude that we're going to move in, she's been here for 2 months now. This other dude that was going to move in, almost the exact same story. They are attention mongrels. I will elaborate on that further later. There is absolutely no fucking reason to be at the goddamn top of your lungs. No reason. She is on the fucking telephone, and it's almost as if she's standing here talking to me. Which, when she is standing here talking to me, I feel like my face is being screamed in. I can't even stand to hear it. It's that bad. Use your inside voice. Don't stomp through the fucking house. Close the door. You weren't raised in a fucking barn. I mean, seriously. If you need that much attention, you need to network and have more friends. Because that's fucking ridiculous. Honey, I cannot use the bathroom by myself without her in my doorway. I cannot have a fucking moment's peace. As soon as my foot hits the fucking floor in the morning, she is in my goddamn doorway asking me if I want to go walk, if I want to do this, if I want to go to the store. I have no fucking time to myself anymore. And I specifically told her and all of my friends, if I wanted to have children, I would have had children. She has got this dog that is blind in one eye and insists that I help her take care of it. I'm like, I do not fucking even like dogs. No, she'll leave for 10 minutes and she'll be like, the dog's name is Baby. She'll be like, you're on baby duty. And I'll be like, bullshit, I'm not fucking with that dog. He shits in the floor, pisses in the floor, does all this shit. I'm not cleaning that up. It's not my mess. But seriously, if you have to scream in somebody's face to get your point across, it's obvious you feel like you're not being heard. You need more friends. If you have to monopolize somebody's time, constantly monopolize somebody else's time, you need more fucking friends. The codependent shit is not for me. I am completely fucking independent. Even when I have a boyfriend, I'm completely independent. Yes, I want to cuddle and do that shit sometimes, but I do not want this motherfucker wallowing me to death. I don't even know if you can hear me over her loud fucking mouth, so I'm going to cut this video short, and I'll get back to you guys later. Love you. Everybody subscribe. Some people come make a video with me. I'm tired of doing these by myself. Well, first of all, y'all don't even have to say anything because I know my hair is a hot mess. This entire month for me has been a hot mess. I have a point to make about something that is going on in our society that I am not very fond of. Robin Williams, the actor, decided to kill himself last week. That's fine and dandy. Whatever. It should not be posted all over the internet about how amazing of a person he is. Had any one of the rest of us committed suicide, it would not be posted all over the fucking internet. The point about that I would like to make about this whole situation is I value every human being. All human beings. Just because you're a fucking movie star who decides to kill yourself, or you've accidentally overdosed on pills, or you've drunk yourself to death, or you were murdered, or whatever the case may be, let me just ask you this. When you go into the eye of the public, and you're walking around, you're in the eye of the public, you're at the grocery store, for instance. Say you go home and you kill yourself. Or you go home and somebody's in your house, hiding in your closet, and you get murdered. Is that shit posted all over the place? No. So what makes you any different if you're a fucking movie star? Just because you were in the eye of the public constantly, which was your decision to make to begin with, you're not posted all over the fucking internet. Sometimes, every so often, a child that is missing is posted all over the internet. I am grateful for that. Because the least amount of time that it takes to find that child or that individual who is missing, the more likely it is that they will survive some horrible circumstance. Killing yourself and then being treated like you're some kind of fucking martyr is not for me. Honestly, I think if that's the case, every time a human being dies or is murdered or whatever the case may be, there should be a fucking bulletin all over the internet saying this person, this circumstance happened to. They died, they overdosed, they killed themselves, they were murdered, whatever. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. It should not be one person, or because you're a movie star, because you're a famous singer, who gives a fuck? My girlfriends come in here and they're like, oh my god, did you hear Robin Williams died? And I was like, okay, big fucking deal. Everybody dies. At some point in time, we all die. Just because it's Robin Williams, who gives a shit? I don't. Yeah, Robin Williams was an excellent actor, but he decided to take his own life. What the fuck? Seriously? If I were to blow my fucking head off on TV right here in front of everybody, do you think that there's anyone going to say anything about that? Oh, this bitch killed herself in Hickory, North Carolina. Big deal. This shit'll be over with in a day. It's not going to be all over the fucking news for probably more than a day or so. I'm not going to be all over Facebook. Oh, donate to Jessica. She killed herself. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe I'm being a bitch, but I feel like the shit does not need to be fucking advertised. It does not matter how much money you have. I mean, come on, people. Find something better to do with your time. I want to tell y'all something I think is extremely funny that I just thought of. I read on Facebook the other day that a singer and her husband of so many years had broken up. I'm not even going to mention any names. I'm sure all of you have seen it. Let me tell you what. If the paparazzi were doing their job appropriately, they would not be after these movie stars. Jerry Springer has the right fucking idea. People are much more interested in real situations. They do not give two shits about movie stars or singers and their split ups. They do that shit fucking constantly. You want to get the real fucking scoop? Come into my house. Come into anybody's house. And photograph that shit. If I'm having sex with my boyfriend in the goddamn swimming pool, come photograph that shit. This random Joe Schmo and Jessica who makes YouTube videos are having sex in a pool. Hell yeah, people gonna love that shit. They don't give two shits about such and such breaking up with their fucking boyfriend or husband or this fling they've been seeing. And now they've got to the point where they're like, I'll just go ahead and mention their names. For some reason, I saw on Facebook this morning that Nicki Minaj's ass outranks Miley Cyrus's ass. My brain just went into complete shock. Just even repeating that on this video. That tells me that people are way too fucking bored with their life. That they have nothing better to do. Who does my ass outrank? Does somebody else's ass outrank mine? Does somebody's nose outrank mine? Does somebody have prettier hair than me? This ridiculous fucking nonsense that goes on these days. I mean, seriously? Trust me, I like Nicki Minaj and I like Miley Cyrus. And honestly, when I look at them, I do not look at their fucking ass. I'm not looking at that. I like their music. I like the way that they do things. I like the fact that they're both against the flow of whatever. They don't... Well, to some degree, they're against the flow. Of course, I'm assuming this whole competition about asses is just one more fucking conformist thing. I don't know. Honestly, I would love for one of these paparazzi to come into my house and be like, oh my god, what's Jessica doing this week? You know what? It would save me the time of making these fucking YouTube videos, which I love doing, only because it's a journal and I get to talk about things that are on my chest, besides these tits that I'd love to get rid of. Jesus Christ. People, I mean, seriously. If everyone would open their mind, we wouldn't have this bullshit. The media would not be making money off of this stupid bullshit. Kudos to those of you who make money off this. Nonsense is what I would consider that. Yeah, exactly. I have nothing else to say about that. The whole fucking situation is just ridiculous.